speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
Ah!
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Surely.
No, I'll be watching it with Laurie after this. Laurie's been night shift the past 4 nights. I've not seen her. I want to watch it with her.
It's not to do
Oh,
with
you
Laurie,
miss
you just
her.
got to watch Love Island though.
Do you miss it, or do you just miss watching Love Island?
Hi guys, welcome to Morons Reviewing Movies.
I thought for all the episodes to get you saying something derogatory towards her, get the one where she's picked a film, Sean. I could have stitched you right up there.
No, I said I'm going to watch Love Island where I wasn't saying anything derogatory. You're the one that's got the problem with Love Island.
But that's what you typically, each week, you've got something derogatory to say. But we won't go into that, and I'll make sure to cut this part out of the recording anyway, Sean, so don't worry.
Yeah, mate. She's a weekly listener.
Probably just thinks that you talk to yourself in a room for 2 hours once a week.
I could actually tell her anything. I could say, we're doing the film stuff tonight. And I could just literally sit and just talk to myself, and she would know any different.
So that's one less downloader that I've got.
For all she knows, right, this could just be me just wanting alone time, and I've made up that I do a movie podcast with my 4 pals. But I'm just sitting in the living room talking to myself for some alone time.
Mate, go for it. Just record it as well. I think it'll make an interesting podcast.
Nah.
Well, guys, thank you for listening in today. Strange start for us. It's been a long afternoon. We are going to be talking about, however, the Partner's Choices. So, first week of the Partner's Choices films, we have got Girls Trip and Get Him to the Greek being selected. There was a bit of a debate going back and forward, especially with my partner, about what film is going to be selected. I'll give you a couple of the ones that were put out there before ultimately decided on this one, which came out of left field. Encanto was on the list for a long time, which I'd have been delighted to watch. Great film. I want to say A Star Is Born was on the list as well. Would have been another one. These are the 2 movies that I've cried at recently, Encanto and A Star Is Born. But somehow we've ended waiting from there to Get Him to the Greek.
Laurie's was only between 2. So she chose this originally. And then I said, right, okay, that's fine. I put it in the chat. I then realised that you had to buy it. So I thought, no, that's fine, I'll just buy it. But then she said, no, it's okay, I'll change. And I was like, you can't change, I've already told them. and then she was like, no, I'll change it. And I was like, well, you can't, because I've already told them. She wanted to change it to Poseidon.
I thought you were going to say she wanted us to watch Hotel Rwanda again.
Well, if she could have her own way, she would have.
She typically does when we record things for her.
I just need to put it out there that Laurie's got the weirdest taste in movies. Like
I know.
So completely different. Like
Hotel Rwanda, Poseidon, and then fucking Girls Trip. Oh god.
Movies as well.
You can see the struggle I've got trying to find a TV programme or a film to watch with. Like it goes from one extreme to the next. It's unbelievable.
That's Murder Mystery to Love Island.
Right.
Oh, I need
That's
to agree with
literally
that.
one of the only things that we watch together is Love Island. And it's so hard for us to sit down and watch a programme that we both like. It's so hard. She likes a lot of depressing stuff, like especially TV programmes like that song's about genocide. Not that. But aye, it is really a really bizarre taste in film and TV that she's got. But hey, if we were all the same, we would all get along.
I've got the same issue. Like it takes Ella about an hour to pick something to watch, but then she'll inevitably just put on something she's watched before. Like after going through everything on Netflix, everything on Prime, going back to Netflix, and then put in fucking This Country on BBC iPlayer that we've seen 100 times.
What the fuck is This Country?
If you've not watched it, you should. It's very funny.
I just pictured something like fucking Holmes under the Hammer or something. That's what
No,
I thought it was
my-
like, I thought it was like a scope or
Sean
something.
would like it. Sean would find it hilarious.
I watched it at your house.
So you did.
He didn't laugh once either.
Why? I was we watched an episode of that.
I think we were
Daniel just has folk to his house and he puts on this country.
Was that like we were all hammered that I put this country on?
No, it
Was
was
that the
when
last
you,
day of the season? The last season.
What's happened
seen
is Ella's been asked to pick something.
no, so
Like
the thing that I seen it is it was like a Thursday night and I got a text from Daniel saying Neely's coming over for a drink if you fancy it. So like I was like, I think I was half day the next day. I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just go. And then so we started having a drink. Ella was there as well, and then we went through to the living room. I got handed a puzzle, and then he put this country as on. And I was just sitting doing a puzzle. Well, Neely was hysterically laughing at this country, like that over the top laugh that he does.
Guys,
And
use a
and it kept-
rock and roll, eh?
That's
kept
like
slapping
telling
my
me you
leg.
at Daniel's house without telling me you at Daniel's house when you got handed the puzzle and watching this country.
Daniel, get the puzzle chat back up and running. Get Sean in it.
Sean didn't take to the puzzling all that well.
No, what are you talking about? I done it.
Okay, he did it. He actually managed to solve it.
All right. I was taking I was getting
You really
berated.
couldn't do it.
And then like I ended up doing it.
Listen, if you didn't think we were cool as fuck already, then I don't know why you don't now. Puzzle nights with this country, which I've never even heard of, sounds like a banging night out, which is obviously too cool for me because I never got invited.
Me either.
My invite still in the post too.
That was Mosher's night in.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get talking about those movies. Let's start off with Get Him to the Greek. A record company intern is hired to accompany out of control British rock star Aldous Snow to the concert at LA's Greek Theatre, which was Sarah's pick, and we didn't realise until after we selected it this is essentially a sequel to another movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which I've also never seen because I've never seen this.
It's more of a spin-off, aye.
My apologies.
I think it's because I put sequel. Like I made out as a sequel in the chat, but it's more of a spin-off than a sequel. Sarah Marshall, you see her like once on the telly in this.
Aye, because he makes a reference about it. Like he used to sleep with her.
It's just in some sort of scrub/casualty crossover.
Well, I'll start off with Sarah's short and sweet review on this, but I won't give away a score at the moment. I'm sure Laurie's got a review waiting for her one as well, Sean.
Yeah, she's no, but I'll make it up on the spot.
Nice. Just do the talking for her like you normally tell us to do.
No, when we were watching it, like she kind of spoke like slush of light, so I can remember. I just never wrote it down. Sorry.
Well, Sarah put my review for Get Him to the Greek. I was 100% stoned when I watched this for the first time and thought it was a lot funnier than it was. Sorry about that. That was it.
Well, that's it.
That's it.
Full stop.
Go and read that again.
Yep. It says, my review for Get Him to the Greek. I was 100% stoned when I watched this for the first time and thought it was a lot funnier than it was. Sorry about
that. Fuck. That's weird.
Was she did that review as well?
Sorry?
Was she stoned when she did that review as well?
We were watching it and Sarah had built this up as being like extremely funny. Like, you'll need to watch these bits, you're going to laugh out loud funny at this. And I don't know, I just got preoccupied. Like, I was sitting booking a holiday on my laptop whilst I was watching it. There was only one scene where I think that I actually like had a good laugh at. Is when she sticks a big dildo into Jonah Hill's mouth, into his mouth. To me, that was probably the only bit that I thought was quite funny. It's a really weird film. I don't understand Russell Brand at all. I actually asked her the question through this. I was like, is he an actor or like musician or comedian in real life? Like, what is he? I don't really get it. But it's a really, really weird film. It's one of those really cheap young humours that goes for cheap laughs, knows that it's going to get that age group of people that are slightly too young to watch this film that will think it's really, really funny and really entertaining. But once you get over the age limit of this film, it becomes not as funny. It's probably the best way that I could describe how I feel about it. But I'm going to come to Burnsy because I'm going to assume that you watched this for the very first time.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Similar to you is like, I'm not really a fan of Russell Brand, but I've seen him on telly or doing like stand-up stuff. So I thought he was quite boring at the start, and I thought he was going to irritate me. But as the film carried on, I thought he did become better. I think that was obviously because of Jonah Hill was there with him. Whereas if it was, I think the starting scenes were more when he was, before he was still in the UK and Jonah Hill was away from him, etc. I thought the music throughout it was good. And when it was quite a fast-paced film that I found with all the sort of nights out that they had towards the start, and that was sort of, that helped in the background. It did do a good illustration of building up the relationship between the two of them as well. So that was decent. There was like, as you, similar to you, Kel, is like, I think it is aimed at, there was some funny parts that I thought, but it was more just, it wasn't laughing loudly, it was more sort of sniggers, because you're just like, they're obviously aiming at a younger audience than us. And they were trying to obviously show what the lifestyle a rock star would be in terms of the partying, drugs, sex, alcohol, etc. And yeah, it was decent enough. I'm glad that they didn't concentrate on the performance. That was obviously going to give him like a loose part towards the end, even though the full point in the film was meant to be for Russell Brand's character to get it to the venue basically and get over to America. But it was far better that it was all, there was so much carnage going on before that stage. But it wasn't anything special. I think it's kind of just something that you watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's definitely not something I'd go to review back again. And there's not any sort of one-liners or particular scenes that are really memorable that for me. But it's maybe just that we're a bit, maybe it is aimed at a teenager.
I think that's where this suffers a little bit for me, is that I had never seen this before, and it came out in 2010, so I had to be, 23 when it came out. So let's say I was that early 20s stage, and let's say I was drunk with my mates and we put this on, and it was, you'd get a better laugh out of it than sitting and watching it on a Tuesday night.
What if you were stoned?
Well, I've never dabbled, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, Bungie. That's not me. I'm a good boy. Good boy from Camelon. Daniel looking about there as he's rolling stuff.
I thought he was looking for such a thing as a good boy from Camelon.
Camelon, please. Camelon. There's people listening.
But listening for Camelon.
Because they've not got nothing to listen to their own. CB radios in the back of their motorbikes.
All their phones have been nicked.
Nokia 3210s.
Running it off the infrared for the telly. I watched I got tagged in it was a clip on Instagram of two guys running with meat cleavers down the back roads of Camelon chasing another guy.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
I also saw a clip for Camelon was on the news recently, and it was a guy with a big snake walking down the street with a giant snake.
I seen that. It's really weird.
So it's a nice place, guys. It's a nice place to grow up. We have mentioned some background stories before on the podcast about where we've grown up in some of these exciting, quiet places.
I think just to finish off, sorry, before I pass it over, I was just going to say that the other bits of when you can imagine when he was, remember when he was outside and he was singing and he was getting past the microphone and his lads are saying, "I've got the clap," and stuff like that. And then also like that was kind of like that was probably something that Sarah probably laughed at for talking's sake. And then the bit about when they had the threesome and everything, it was just too weird, and it's maybe something that maybe you do need to watch when, like you say, Kel, if you're drunk, then maybe your humour will sort of change and you'll actually laugh more at stuff. But I don't think
we mentioned this on last week's podcast when we were watching The Crow, talking about watching movies in their timeline. So that was obviously an early 90s movie. And I don't know if you guys remember for last week, but we talked about how it was more relevant at its time and it's not aged well. And this might just be in that category of it's not as funny now once you get past a certain age, but a younger generation may still enjoy it.
I mean, if you get on a woke group of teenagers in a couple of years' time, this will get cancelled the fuck out the door. Like.
Well, Hunter, what was your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's kind of weird. I do remember enjoying it at the time, and I mean, I remember, like you said, you can't remember it was so bad. I remember he was just he was a presenter, and then he was heavy on the smack. He was probably hanging at the back of Kate Moss and Pete Doherty in some sort of weird threesome back then, but then he got himself clean and he done Celebrity Big Brother or whatever it was. He was like a Big Brother presenter. Then he worked his way up. He got himself out there. Then of course he married my future wife Katy Perry. Then got himself in the. He was back in the public limelight. He was like a reformed hero. He was a reformed drug addict, and then he goes to get himself on this. I mean, you've got to take on board that he is. He was always quite eccentric. I remember with Big Brother, he was always like quite flamboyant and with his gestures and quite outspoken at times as well. So take that on board. You take it for what it is. It's still a very good portrayal. I mean, he's very typecast as some sort of eccentric. I mean, it's kind of meant to be. I'd imagine there's like a modern reincarnation of someone who's not dead. Like what would Mick Jagger be like if he was Mick Jagger from the 60s but in the early 90s? I think that's the sort of role that's maybe been sort of put down on the script for him. And he does it well. I mean, Jonah Hill, I mean, he's kind of always good in what he does. He's good in this. And also, I didn't realise it, although I've used the gift several times, but the one we sitting at the table, he's giving it the whole, happy, excited. I've completely forgotten it was from this. So there's a wee sort of pop culture reference in there. I mean, it's not awful. I mean, as you said, there are a lot of it is comedy dated. I don't even think it's aged that well. I still think people that were the age we were when it first came out, maybe watched this for the first time, would still enjoy it. But it's maybe that next generation that's coming through in the back of it that might be like, well, A, B, C, D in here, not anymore.
I see. Well, listen, thankfully it's not your partner's week of movies that we're talking about when you're talking about your future wife and it not being Laura.
I know, Katie's left me on red for the last week when I asked her for a choice.
Or is that one that you've had on your little laminated list that you're allowed to have if it pops up?
The laminated list that gets re-laminated every week.
Well, listen, Sean announced last week that he's going to be as big as Brad Pitt, so keep him with Sean. He'll keep you in the link.
I mean, sorry, Orlando Bloom, but you're going in the sea, pal.
That was only an hour ago I said that, Kyle.
Sean, play the game. Play the game here.
Oh, I've not seen you in a week. How are you doing?
Well, fuck, I didn't even ask you how you were doing at the start. I've already done that today. You better stop recording, guys.
Like
Cut
three
that.
times.
Start again.
Let's start again.
Daniel, this seems like the kind of movie that I think that you would really like, or did really like.
No.
That's his new.
Sean, can we get your thoughts on it now, please?
No. So, I kind of agree with what you guys are saying. The one thing I would say is I do think Russell Brand is the perfect person to play this character. It's just not got much clever humour. It's just loads of like saying Fanny or like saying rude stuff or rude stuff happening. And that's kind of where the jokes come from. Do you mean like we watched Me, Myself and Irene not quite recently, and that's kind of what I was comparing this in my mind to. And I think this is where the downfall of you don't really get any big comedies anymore unless it's fucking Kevin Hart and The Rock. Like outside that, there's no big comedies anymore. I think this was start of the downfall. Was everything tried to be like The Hangover, and you got.
I think a lot of people are scared as to what they can get away with now as well, because you can't really get away with that much. Like in comparison to obviously in comparison to earlier comedies where it was a lot more like probably Me, Myself and Irene. Yeah. That couldn't get released today. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, I mean, I do think you still can make whatever you want. I mean, God, me and Hunter watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Some of the stuff
Exactly.
that is fucking.
And it's kind of
like,
like Ricky Gervais has touched on a similar point too. Like when he does his stand up, like he'll say a joke and he'll be like, you know, you're laughing, but that is the punchline. It's derogatory against women. The joke I've just made. Then he'll make it again. And they laugh again. She's like, see, you know it's a joke, but see, that's what it is. That comedy in certain situations like that is still out there. It maybe just needs, but you're right. It maybe won't get made because I've touched on it sort of lightly with it being the woke culture that it maybe won't make millions at a box office or whatever. Now you can't get big names to sign up for now because they're worried about their own personal image, maybe where they went a few years ago.
Well, I would go as far as to say that it's not the content; it's how clever you are and how you do it, and who the butt of the joke is. Like Stevie just put in something controversial for the sake of it, and there's no clever joke around it, which is what this film suffers from. I think it's just stuff happening. I'm slating it quite a lot. It was all right. It wasn't that it's not a terrible film, but I think if you do it in a clever way where you make it clear that the character is doing this thing, not just that you want to put this thing in your film, then it works. Whereas that's taking us to a wee bit of tangent on free speech and shit. They won't leave that alone. But this film's all right. It's a bit more, it gets a bit samey. See, by the time that like the third party and they're getting drunk again, and I'm like, oh, like here we go again. It was a bit of rinse and repeat. Like we're going to make this flight. Oh no, let's go here instead. Okay, then they go there, they fucking get smashed again. Shit happens. Then they go and try and make the flight again, and something like intervenes. And
So I know what you mean for that, because I think the sweet part for making that funny is it happens once or it happens 15 times. No, 3 or 4. 3 or 4 is a bit where you've tried to be funny, but do you know what? Do it to the point where we're getting annoyed because then it becomes funny because it's awkward.
Aye, it doesn't quite hit the spot at any point for this. For me, though, I think Puff Daddy's quite an underrated comedy actor, though.
Yes, it was actually on my between these 2 weeks films. There was actually 2 references between the both. Did you get them?
Well, he's in both movies, isn't he?
Puff Daddy, and also there's a reference to Goga in both movies as well.
Oh, well spotted. But I thought he was one of the highlights of this film. He's funny. See when he's chasing them down the hallway, but he's clearly faster than them, but he's having to like slow down to make it seem like he's chasing them. That was quite funny. But the threesome scene was mentioned. I feel like the movie completely fell apart for that point onwards. That scene just it wasn't funny or awkward or weird or I don't know. It didn't work for me. And then the rest of the film, him going and being depressed and saying sorry for trying to have the threesome, like it all just got a bit. It lost its way for me towards the end. But
I'm saying, Daniel, as well, that was like the very next scene that it was like the threesome had just ended, and then like obviously I think the film was meant to have like went on for a day or something. I don't even know, but it was at the very next scene. He was depressed, and he's going after he's like saying, "Get out my house," basically. Then he's going to help him. Is it when he was completely raging at him? It didn't make any sense. I agree with you.
Aye, well, it was a poor way to sort of bring the film towards the end. One thing I did like, though, see the whole African Child album and song and shit was so funny to me. Like, and it makes it as good. It takes the piss out of fucking what actual rock stars are like. Reminds me of like Bono. It's like a dig at folk like that think they're making this fucking difference, and they don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. And I just found that bit was good. And that's what there was a couple of ongoing themes that made me quite enjoy the film that was going to bring my score up a little bit, but none of the jokes really landed with me. I didn't find myself laughing a lot.
Jackie Q was good.
Who?
Jackie Q.
Aye.
Rosebud
is good. The Lars Ulrich cameo was quite funny.
Yeah,
such a random guy for it to be was Lars Ulrich to me. I quite like that. But overall, it's all right, but it's going to be low compared to the other comedies that we've watched recently.
It's funny because I had no idea who that was in the bed with her.
No?
Even though it was name checked before
even then, I still struggled. I'm not a music man.
Even when he mentions the fact that he's a drummer from Metallica.
I had to Google who Metallica were. Is that a new type of paint?
Wow.
Sean, take us away with some of your thoughts, mate.
I'm not really a massive fan of this. I remember watching it after, because obviously it came out in the back of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is a much better comedy than this. And I'm surprised that they went down the route of like a spin-off of Russell Brand's character. I didn't think it stood out that much in Forgetting Sarah Marshall that it merited its own kind of film. I do quite like Russell Brand. I think he's fine in this. I do not like Jonah Hill. I do not like the comedic side. I just don't like Jonah Hill in comedies, basically. I think he's a much better actor when he's in a kind of more serious role. Although I do like him in Wolf of Wall Street. I think he's brilliant in that. But that's just a different level to what this is. But like in Moneyball, he was really good. I cannot. It just reminds me too much of Superbad. Although this is a completely different character, I do not like him in comedies. It's just no for me at all. I just found this really, really bland, kind of really simple humour. Said like I'm a real comedian myself, but like just really basic stuff. And like it's a shame because what you say is right, Daniel. Like I cannot remember the last really, really good comedy that was released. I used to love going to the pictures to see a comedy because I just always found myself laughing more in the cinema than I would watching it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always make a point to go see comedies I wanted to see at the cinema. But I couldn't tell you the last comedy I went to see at the pictures. In fact, it was that one, actually I fucking went a month ago, when me and Laurie we were up with two and we decided to go to the pictures, and it was one of the things that was on that film with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. Just total basic as fuck humour. Like it was alright, but like that's just what you get now with comedies, and it's quite shit.
I think you touched on it, Daniel. Sorry to digress, Sean, but I think The Hangover was the last time I went to the cinema to watch a comedy and pissed myself like all the way from start to finish.
Probably the same. Probably the same. And again, that's just a very basic idea in itself. Like the first one, like it totally.
Yeah.
I can remember going to see it. I had no expectation of it. It took me by surprise, and I absolutely loved it. And I kind of tolerated the second and third one because of how good the first one was. The second and third one has its moments, but the first one is probably I would completely agree with that. It's the last one I can remember proper belly laughing at the cinema. But going back to this, I just like it's an easy watch, but it's just a daft film. Like I'm just no that big a fan of it at all. If I get Sarah Marshall, as I said, I think that should have just been left at that. I don't think it needed a spin-off. I don't think Albus Snow, that's his name?
Aldous Snow, yeah.
Aldous Snow. I don't think Aldous Snow really kind of merited a film on his own, and then just kind of chucking Jonah Hill into it for good measure. That is a resounding no from me. Aye, that's really it. They're just really underwhelming. Shite, basically.
Wait for no for me, a bit underwhelming, just shite. Like we've always said for Sean through the time we've done this, it's either something really, really good or something shite. There was no much middle ground there.
I think it's just because like I felt like you were all looking at me, wanting me to say more. So I was fucking the word shite. But again, I just forget like these are just looking at your phone. It's quite
Half this you've got your screen turned off. You're on the one with your camera turned off as well, Sean.
Aye, because I didn't need to sit and hold my phone to my face. I just put my phone in the chair and just put my
Talk to the
headphones
wall.
Aye.
Well, listen, I'll save you here with some trivia that's coming in. Russell Brand filmed scenes performing as a rock star. Aldous Snow at his sellout comedy show Scandalous in front of 20,000 people at the O2 Arena. Jack Black and Jason Segel joined him on stage. Different. Emily Blunt was announced for the role of Jackie Q, but then had to pull out, so it went to Rose Byrne, who I thought was really good. Jonah Hill states in the commentary that he improvised the line "I am alive" after his character was injected with adrenaline. Originally, he didn't have a line. I didn't wait just to see, like, it wouldn't have done much difference, but that I'm Alive bit makes sense. And Hunter, you'll be sad to know that Katy Perry has a cameo as herself, but the scene got cut.
Oh. I was going to dine off the royalties in the future, but no anymore.
Nah, you'll not get that when you have your wedding.
No.
Sound well. Let's get scoring it. I'll give you Sarah has given us a score for it to start with. She has given it a 2 out of 5.
Are we including that?
Honest to God, but I mean, this is meant to be films that the partners like. I can't believe she's gave us a. When she couldn't even remember if she liked it when she was stoned. That's shocking for her.
Are we including her, Kyle, or are we just telling her with?
No, I'll include them.
Right.
It'd have been funny if you'd got a score before watching, and then before we watch, and then after we watching it.
Do you know what the conversation was had as well, that she didn't actually want to give us a movie that she really likes because of the way that we typically talk about movies. So bear in mind that the way the response that we got after we slandered Up.
Yeah.
So I think there's maybe a fear factor on something. Looking at the list of movies that have been picked anyway, I don't believe that any of them are particularly the favourites of the partners, but we're maybe getting that like second tier list of movies that they quite enjoy for us to review because they're too scared to give us the good ones.
Oh, aye, definitely.
Ella's was just picked based on she thought it would be interesting.
To be fair, Ella never actually got to pick hers, Daniel.
It's going to annoy her.
Well, you picked it. You've wanted this one for long enough. It's never won, so just say that your missus picked it. Good, Jen. Burnsy, what are you scoring this?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a higher score than Sarah, 2.25.
See, Sarah, Burnsy thinks that he's better than you. Hunter?
I can't make it to echo Bunsy's score there. There's some positives, but it's below average now.
2.25 for a Hunter. I'm going to go and follow suit with Sarah. Give it a 2. Daniel?
I'm also following suit with a 2.
And Sean?
1.25.
A 1.25. So that was a 3 2s, 2 2.25s, and a 1.25. Burnsy?
1.95.
That brings us to a 1.95. You think that the leaderboards would be up and ready, but since it's been a week since we last recorded, I don't have it already in front of me.
Is that a week in dog years, Kyle?
I didn't know how that works. Yes.
A week in season years.
I think this was actually mentioned earlier, but a 1.95 puts it in line with Superbad, which is also a 1.95. Also ties it up with Labyrinth and Incest 2, Back to the Future 2.
I'm glad that it's next to Superbad. They're same sort of levels, nowhere near as good as people seem to remember.
Fair enough. Well, the next movie that we're going to talk about was selected by Sean's better half, which is Girls Trip. Girls Trip is when 4 lifelong friends travel to New Orleans for the annual Essence Festival. Sisterhoods are rekindled, wild sides are rediscovered, and there's enough dancing, drinking, brawling, and romancing to make the Big Easy blush. But before we come in to talk about Girls Trip, if we're thinking of that weekend away with a bunch of people that you would want to be dancing, drinking, brawling, and romancing with, let's go for famous people, famous actors. Who would be our top 5?
That's a good question.
It is.
Thought of it just off the cuff there, Sean.
So just famous people.
Go for it. Why not?
We're combined top 5 here. We're going to say 3 on 5.
Let's pick one each, and we'll make it the 5.
Right. Okay.
I couldn't remember the name of that monument the wrestlers always say, like, who's your...
Oh, Mount Rushmore.
That's the one. Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Want a Mount Rushmore of who we would want a weekend away with?
Yes, please. I'll go first. I want Scarlett Johansson.
Right, okay. I can get on board with that.
If you're going with Scarlett Johansson,
The 4 of us are 5 minutes standing around her.
So are we picking one each, or are we picking like 4 or 5 each?
I think we pick.
One
Just
each.
pick one each because we'll be here all day if we pick 5 each. Christ.
Guys, right, listen, we had this
25
right before we
names.
started recording. This was going to be a silly question. Why are we still fucking arguing this? We're meant to be professionals
Right.
here.
Okay. I'll pick mine then.
I need to change mine because I'll get fucking shot.
Well, I'm going to take Margot Robbie because nobody can shoot me, so it's fine. She can come with me for the weekend.
You'll definitely not shoot her either.
If you want to take Scarlett Johansson, she can come with you too.
Oh dear.
Burns is waiting to get the grapefruit suit for Margot Robbie. Sorry, Sean, you've been trying to tell us who you'd like to have in your Mount Rushmore.
Mick Lynch.
Mick Lynch.
No, I would probably go somebody. I wouldn't go for a female. I would go for a guy. Somebody that I don't know. I find dead interesting. Do you know what I would actually?
Somebody just snip that bit of audio, please.
I would like Dana White. I think that would be a right laugh.
I thought you said Dana White, and I was like, what does Dana White mean?
I would go for Dana White.
Dana White, Margot Robbie. Burns, we don't need any explanation as to why you've picked Margot Robbie.
I'll give you a sec. I'm going to give a second one as well. I was also going to get Stone Cold Steve Austin to come with us because he can drink, but then also could just talk about himself all weekend. So there would be no silences.
He'd be out with us, but well, guys, if I was to pick my 5, it wouldn't have been yours.
That's fun because if we're allowed to go alive or dead, go on.
As someone who I have shared a bed with before,
Katy
I'm
Perry.
like Sean, I'm going for the male route rather than the female route. I'm going for podcast sensation Sean Field.
Yeah, I've shared a bed. Well, it wasn't a bed, it was a couch, basically, turned into a bed. That's true.
Was that the prize for cracking the puzzle?
No, well, it's actually an absolute fucking disgrace is what it is. So somehow, Daniel and Neely got this nice double bed, and me and Hunter got a fucking creaky sofa bed.
That was the same one that you were in with Mikael in our room.
Was it? Where was this?
Rossi.
I was about to say Dubai.
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 Wait, that one.
Dubai. I went to Dubai for the Scotland-England game.
I had to put listen, I'm not a tall guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I had to put a chair at the bottom of where I was sleeping so my legs didn't hang off the end.
Oh, it was horrendous. Somehow as well, and I don't know how, but as far as I'm aware, me and Hunter never touched that whole night, which is amazing, considering how little room there actually was.
We went inside,
we
but we never
wake up.
touched.
Hunting was different.
I actually remember we've already spoke about this. This was the thing with fucking Neely and Daniel in the other room. Mind we were talking about it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what we were saying, but it was funny.
We were talking about playing puppets.
That was the name of last 2 weeks ago's podcast. Sticking hands up each other's arses.
So, see on that topic, I had a new team at work, and we were talking about the movie themed gifts in the team chat that day. So I mentioned about the podcast, and somebody went, "Oh, go and look it up," and then they were like, "Daniel ... The last," and then they came up with the last name is sticking hands up each other's arses. Is the name of the last podcast. I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Oh, funny.
Oh well, then I let them scroll down to the bottom because there's one we're talking about glow in the dark dildos and midget orgies, according to Daniel. So you get a bit of a reputation going, Daniel.
I know. Jamie Foxx's Smashing Big Bobby is still my favourite name we've had.
I like the Bradley Cooper, the question mark, because I put in the cunt, but it didn't take cunt, it just changed it to a question mark. Sorry, Hunter. Is that your final answer? You're going to select someone that's already going to be there?
Uncle Roy Keane. I would just sit and talk to him all night. There's the guy just bought our drinks over, like, but that's his job.
That's a good show. I would actually change mines on the back of Hunter Shout. I would change mines from Dana White to Ange.
Oh, no Gary Hooper.
No, Ange Postecoglou.
You're taking him, I'm not coming.
Good.
Margot's getting stood up. Daniel,
To be fair, if we were there with Ange, he would absolutely sweep up. We'd be left around to each other. Sticking our hands up Daniel's arse playing puppets. That's what we would do.
Man. Are they allowed to be alive or dead, Kyle?
It's your fantasy, mate. You choose.
A bit weird bringing a dead body to a fucking party.
He wants Brandon Lee.
I would get
Daniel turns up with a casket. It's the wheel it about on there. Sorry, I'm late, boys. I had to dig this up. Fucking brutal, man.
Right, guys, come over.
We've been sitting here for 6 years, man.
Daniel's all sweating, covered in dirt.
Just turns up with a shovel and a casket and gets wheeled into the
That's
pub.
why he's been unwell and sweating so much in the house when he's been up. He's been carrying a casket up the spending time with us.
I would definitely be sweating carrying this casket because it would be Andre the Giant that would be inside.
Can you imagine the bill? He'd be like, boy, I'm just chucking my 20 by the heat.
Fucking
So
hell.
we've got D. Andre the Giant so far, Margot Robbie.
We need to take it in shifts to go in the sesh room.
Yeah, I thought it was
Just
actually
order the table.
the Maxis were going to take it first as well, so I had to written down.
You're no matching up well against Andre the Giant, Burns, in one department. Your thumb's bigger.
That's very true.
We've got Roy Keane and we've got Dana White because Ange isn't coming. He's not invited.
No, it's Ange Postecoglou. It's my guest. Daniel just brought cops. You can give me a living man.
So if I was to, my first original thought was like, could I be dead cliche and go for like Fergie? Give me Sir Alec, but you bring Roy Keane along. That'd just be a hostile environment.
There's got to be a bit of needle there.
A bit of
money. That's money.
A bit of needle, but if I'm getting the chance to bring someone dead or alive to this point, and I get to spend a night on the sauce where I'm getting them drunk, getting to really understand what they're like, pick their brains, get them in vulnerable situations to work out what they're thinking. I think there's only one answer to this, guys, and it's got to be Adolf Hitler.
What the fuck?
No? I want to know what the man's all about.
Well, this is completely went south.
I think it's clearly
This is
obvious what the man's all about.
This is definitely going to need to get edited. Well, that's came
I think
from.
I'm alright with Ange coming this, Sean.
So, thanks everyone.
So, my thoughts on Girls' Trip. Girls' Trip for me was a bit too long.
Is that it?
I'm just all stunned.
How long it was.
I think
Dan, when you're doing the image of this, you're gonna have to put the 5 people that we want to come to this night out with us.
that's fine. I think it's got to be Hitler. Needs to be the name of the podcast as well.
I don't think we can have a podcast with the name Hitler in it, for fuck's sake.
Like, our Mount Rushmore #1, it's got to be Hitler.
Just to clarify, none of us support Hitler.
Well, 4 of us don't. Other questionable at this stage. I don't know why you brought it up.
80% says no bad ratio of that.
He's never said he's been against them, to be fair. Just said
Well, it
didn't
goes
support-
without saying we're against somebody that basically killed millions of people.
I just want to understand.
I mean, if you need to state that.
Fuck it, I'm inviting Genghis Khan. That's what I'm doing
Yes. That blew up the group chat before, Daniel. Didn't we do that right again?
No biggie, Genghis Khan.
Oh,
I'm not changing my answer. We're sticking with it. Sean, continue with your thoughts on Girls' Trip.
So, obviously, Laurie really likes this film. This is one of the comedies that she'll go to watch. I think she actually went to the pictures to see this with her pal. But this is one that she'll literally sit and howl at this. She did also say, to give her due, she did say that like she switches off towards like the last bit of it because she does think it drags on a bit, and it definitely does. I'm pretty sure you'll all agree with that. It definitely, I think it's like almost 2 hours long, and for a comedy, you're looking to be it to always to be around 90 minutes, 100 minutes. This overstays its welcome, be about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It feels like, but it is quite kind of basic at bits. I think the Jada Smith, I fucking hate her in it. I think she's awful, really annoying. I forget the characters' names. What's her pal's name that's really aggressive? I thought she was quite good.
Dina.
She's
It definitely looks like her passport says born in Camelon.
like, I think without her, I think this film would have been just went to shit. I think she's involved in a lot of the kind of more kind of humorous stuff for me. But again, it's got a stereotypical aggressive friend character that's been done a million times before, but I think she played it really well, to be fair. The Queen Latifah, and I didn't particularly like her either. I thought it would have been all right without her. I don't think she adds really much apart from she's like a TMZ type fucking paparazzi type thing that obviously ties in with the cheating husband story and all that. But it is what it is. Some bits are quite funny. The bit where that Dina had the water, the grapefruit, and she was showing the technique, that raised a wee smile.
Just a smile did it raise?
Just a smile. It has its moments. I think that Laurie probably found it a lot more funny when she was at the pictures, but she was quite excited for us to watch this because she always goes back to she thinks that grapefruit bit's absolutely hilarious. So she actually kind of paused it and told me to make sure I was watching this bit, and I was like, right, do you actually tell me when the funny bits come so I can just watch it? That kind of ruins the suspense for you a wee bit. But pretty much kind of similar to what I was saying about Get Him to the Greek. Some of it's very basics. Some of it's like stuff you've seen in films done 100 times. Like a lot of sex jokes and stuff like that have been done to death many times. But it did have one or two moments that I did think were quite good. And that character, Dina, as a whole, I thought she played. I thought she was portrayed really, really well. But I just meh for me. Too long.
I think that this falls into that bracket as well, as it depends how you're watching it, if it's funny or not. So if it is a group of females that are friends that are watching this together at the cinema, had a couple of drinks, might think this is like absolutely hilarious. A bit like when we would have watched The Hangover for the first time when it first came out, thinking it was really, really funny. I took some notes on this because I'd literally just watched it before we came on. That Dina, for me, again, same as Sean, was probably the best part of it. I didn't really get the other three on the roles because Jada Smith's there. I wrote in my notes, Jada's a cunt, but she slaps better than Will.
She's terrible. She's absolutely terrible in it. Really bad.
And then I actually forgot about the list of movies that she's been in because I was like, I can't remember what else I remember her from, and it pops up straight away: The Matrix, Scream, Collateral, like quite big movies, but I just not remembering her in any of these.
I never knew she was in The Matrix or Scream.
There you go. She's in Scream 2, Matrix Reloaded, Revolutions, Collateral. She's in loads of movies. I thought it was funny when Dina smashed that bottle and she was going to try and stab Luke Cage in the throat. Does she not know that he kind of get his skin pierced? That would have been nothing for her. See, that's one for the Marvel geeks there. Birds and Sean are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know. The fuck's Luke Cage?
Is that guy from Mortal Kombat?
No.
That's Johnny Cage.
That's his man.
The Regina Hall who plays Ryan Pierce, I could not from the minute this film started to the minute it ended, could not get that annoying screaming voice from fucking Scary Movie out of my head the whole time. Every time she spoke, I was like, oh, that's her for Scary Movie, and that's all I could think of when I was watching it. So I didn't find her any good to watching it at all. But this was very much a Bridesmaids meets Hangover type of movie. Like they've taken these two concepts and stuck them together, and this is what you've got: a far too long comedy some bits were funny, like, but again, awkwardly funny. So when I mentioned before about when a piece of comedy goes on just that little bit too long, where it becomes awkward, to me that becomes funny. So the bit where where they're pushing over people as she's going between the two buildings, I didn't laugh at the first bit, but when it come to the second lassie coming and then it happens, it's the same joke happens again straight away. That to me was funny because it lasted far unnaturally long. I found that bit quite funny. The only other notes I've got in there is that they mentioned Mad Dog 2020. I thought that was cool.
I noticed that as well.
How sad are we that Mad Dog 2020 been mentioned in once as a highlight of a movie? But I've just got one question for these guys. Who's going to buy a grapefruit?
I mean,
I don't like
grapefruit
grapefruit.
tastes horrible anyway. Like it tastes minging.
You mean grapefruit flavoured Mad Dog 2020 or grapefruit?
Just leaving it up to you to think about. But no, it was too long. I found myself like willing it to stop. I thought it was interesting that with Brian Pierce's character that it was always about her reputation and how much money she can make, that how much shit she'll deal with. Because she's obviously getting horsed about by her man for long enough, and she kens exactly what's going on, but she's making money, so she's letting it slide. It took a lot for her to change from that, even when like it got far too far point where he's got this other lassie pregnant, etc. She was like, I know, but look at this big monetary contract that I'm going to get. It's just quite a weird storyline in that sense.
I do think that'll happen quite a lot in the real world, though. I think there'll be so many fake kind of couples. I don't think that's that far fetched.
No, I agree.
But I do think there'll be so much, like you'll see these couples that'll put on an image because that's what they're better they believe are better together from a money point of view. I think that's probably quite realistic in terms of like famous people, especially in America and stuff like that.
I believe it's realistic. I just think the way it's portrayed though is it was portrayed as a good thing for her to do that, and I think it's, for me, it's that message of this is a four strong individual women. Could it not be that he's taking that step too far? Like that shows that first picture. This is your man cheating. Like I thought they did really well to highlight that to her quite early in the movie. I thought that was going to be the end storyline, was that one picture. But actually she got told about it really early on. Why don't we just fuck him off and go and have his wild weekend with the girls in a 90-minute movie and end it on them all being happy within each other's presence?
I think the film was just sort of to show you that how she was torn for the start, and then she obviously thought that if she did leave him, she wasn't going to have the career she was going to have. And like Sean says, I can imagine maybe that is what goes on with people that are in the public eye, that they'll have, I don't know, like influencers or actresses or actors or whatever, or other people that are maybe on TV or that, and they think together, obviously, they're this sort of power couple. And she doesn't want to lose that because she might think she'll just become like her friends, maybe, who just sort of have more normal jobs. Whereas the friends are obviously the ones that are sort of saying for the start, no, you can do it. But she doesn't believe in herself, and it's obviously at the end. So it more takes you on a journey. Whereas if it just happened at the very start, it wouldn't have been as impactful at the end, I think.
See, I'd disagree. I'd say that if you horsed them away for the start and then went on this girl power weekend or we can do without them, it'd have the same impact on the end story.
No, but I think it was because it then got brought into the public eye while she was meant to be the keynote speaker at this event. Then she was, they put on a good show so far, and like, oh, you've done so well. But then she came out of shell when she'd seen, like, I can't put up this shit anymore. I need to be true to myself rather than what the public thinks I am. And that's when she then gets the deal off the back of her own courage rather than the public image she was pretending to portray.
Daniel's pushing himself in the background here, so I'm going to bring him in for his thoughts.
I'm just, Bonzi and Hunter sound like fucking Ryan's PR team here. Justify it all, but I'm on, in terms of like the story, I'm on Kyle's side. I think that's it's just a shitty bit of a storyline. Like, I couldn't give a fuck about hiding a relationship to make more millions, and then you make the more millions anyway. Like that's what the whole story is. I struggled with this one, guys. I really did. Tiffany Haddish is quite funny, and she tries to like carry the whole comedy aspect of this film. She's only one of the lead actresses that's doing anything remotely funny at any point. The rest of it, most of the scenes, I didn't really get what the point was. I didn't really know what the event was they were going to. It was like none of this done anything for me. I didn't find it funny or interesting. I thought it was really shite. I thought this was really poor. So it's going to be very low for me in this one.
Let's circle back to get some more thoughts in, because we never really went into the thoughts from Burnsy and Hunter. So let's circle back to Burnsy.
So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was good from start to finish. I thought each of the four.
That seemed like there was a bit of sass there, Daniel. Like, I fucking like this. Right? I'm fucking killing it black.
He's liked it too much by the sounds of it.
And Hunter mimicked it there. Snap the fingers, for fuck you, Daniel. I'll tell you right now why I like this. You go, girl. You tell us.
I thought each of the four actresses added something a wee bit different. Their characters were obviously. You had one that you'd said, Tiffany, who is Dina. I thought she was definitely the best actress in it. How she was that loud, happy. Like she was the funniest one. And then you had Ryan Pierce's character, who was obviously the one that was doing obviously a lot better than all of them. And I thought the film did a good way of sort of showing her struggle, that inside she knew she had to leave the guy, but she was worried about what it would do for her career. I couldn't really figure out if her husband whether he was a shit actor in it, or it was just because I thought he was a dick in terms of that the actor himself. The person who was. I couldn't figure out if the actual actor himself was horrendous in it, or whether it was the way it was worded and scripted.
He's just a shit actor, mate. He's
Um,
shite in the cage, so.
And I thought it was quite funny. Like I thought for the start, when they had the bottle at the hotel, when it was Dina, that she was the kind of character who would do that kind of stuff. When they had that sausage at the cooking demo, and she was just like rattling it and doing various stuff to the sausage, when the guy sitting there was his girl that he's got pregnant, standing like across there. When they went all like high on abs, when they went all nuts and abs and started doing the dancing with the various group of pals on the dance off, that was quite amusing. And the bit which you said as well, Kyle, about when they're peeing on folk, is I thought it was similar to like how the lamp was in the nightclub, and Sasha was like, she was hallucinating that she was like making love to it, and that when really she was just like getting off with a lamp. But it went on for quite a while. That I thought that was quite funny because it was an extended period of time that it was on screen. But no, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
John fucked on off that much he's left.
I don't think it was. I had to look to see what I think it's better than Bridesmaids, and I know what my score is. That's what I was basing it on. But I don't know if that's because this is obviously fresh in the memory, or whether it is on par with that. But no, I thought it was something that was definitely better than the previous one. And I thought the humor was a lot better. The storyline didn't bother me because that was kind of more a sidetrack, I guess. And it was more just I thought it was taking you on a journey of the main character's emotions and being torn, etc. But no, I can't really say anything that bad about it. And in terms of the length of the film, I didn't feel as if it was overly long either. I thought it was just about right.
I see the whole scene with the absence and the hallucination. I just felt they could have cut that whole bit out. Like, I felt it was a way to get Mike Epps to appear in it as a random character, and they come up with this dealer.
I didn't like that either.
I just thought that whole bit could have just chopped that clean out, and it wouldn't have made any difference to what was going on. But again, thinking of The Hangover. They have that scene in The Hangover. They get spiked. They go out of control. They
Aye,
kind of.
but the difference is with The Hangover, it's like look back to the start of the film. It has credence. It adds to the story. And this is just a fucking unnecessary sub-byplot that doesn't need to be there.
It's a filler, isn't it? Like a big bit of filler. But again, I think filler to get somebody like Mike Epps in there to have a part that like they've told them and they've paid him to come play a part in this movie, but they've not worked out what it is, so they've flung in this random bit that impacts the story with no impact. Sorry, Burnsy, we're shooting all over your favourite film. Hunter.
I know. I feel like such a twat, although I was sticking up for fictional characters, women's rights about 5 minutes ago, but I didn't enjoy the cat with Daniel. I did not enjoy this at all.
Fuck's sake. Thought I had somebody that was on the same page.
No, it's even like the point that you have said that, Dana just seems to me to be just some sort of mad, schemy fucking rat lot grand out for fucking on a Sunday sesh. Like, I've seen that. I mean, like, there was the pissing scene I found funny the first time because you knew it was coming, the punchline was there and it hit. The second time I was like, oh, fucking need it. She'd get a fucking rat out above the fucking street. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it, but I also, there was too much in it that made me not enjoy it either, and I feel bad because that's been Laurie's choice. But again, as you said, if you stick me, someone mentioned the point earlier, if you stick me down in a cinema with 3 guys or 3 lasses, whatever, a bottle of Prosecco each and go and watch this, it's a whole different experience. But I think, as you said, with Bridesmaids being before it, A Hangover being before it, it's just paint by numbers and rehashes and remakes of things that have came before it.
Bridesmaids is 10 times the movie this is.
According to one of us. Sorry, I misinterpreted what you said there. Bridesmaid, even A Hangover 2, it's like, as you said, you've tried to take 2 films that have above it, let's rehash it, let's see if we can make 2 rights, make a better right, and you've ended up making a fucking negative, that's what maths equations say. 2 negatives make a positive, 2 positives make a negative.
Listen, we've had a lot of talk about this, and we've mentioned Jamie Foxx as well recently, and his big smashing Bobby, but we had a big smashing Bobby in this, but we've not even talked about.
See, on that point, they spoke about this guy's massive Bobby so much that
that was the other point I was going to touch on, but I didn't know if it'd be relevant. Imagine the roles were reversed. Imagine it was a 45-year-old guy talking about an 18-year-old fucking lassie. And the way they do this. Think about it.
Yeah. Do it. If you changed it and put 4 guys in the scenario and flipped it, it would be a whole different film.
But my point still stands. Shows the massive Bobby. Don't make half the film talking about this giant Bobby then no showing it, because they showed you a dick earlier on in the film when the guy was sneaking at the window.
That was funny. That was funny. I like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So just shows the giant dick. Like I didn't see the point, and there was no punchline to it.
Just to walk about with 2 grapefruit stuff.
Just show us the giant dick.
Aye, there's your podcast name.
I think you see if they did that Hangover, you got to show the pictures at the end of the film, and the last one was just a giant phallus. There you go.
Just put it up a score for me if there's a giant phallus in the end credits.
But see on that bit with the when the mad boy who was wanting sex, who got his bobby out and he pushed against the window. There is nothing more vile than a naked man, isn't there? Like, it's just like bits hanging there, and it's disgusting.
That, to be fair, that was probably one of the funniest scenes in the whole film for me. That him coming in that door with his $5, and then he was like, $5 hose. He's like, I get $2 change. And then he points to Jada Smith and says that he wouldn't even give it to her for $5.
Well, that was what I was going to add on, is I didn't even realise that was Will Smith's wife when I was watching the film.
For fuck's sake.
To add on to Sean's point, I think something worse looking is a man naked just from the waist down.
Oh,
Aye,
aye,
what is
100%.
that?
Like 100%.
There's something really like about that.
That's why I don't know about you, but that's why I always get dressed like from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll put my boxers on first. I don't know why I'm getting into this, but
Oh,
Does
You
it-
didn't
dress-
you didn't even sleep naked, Sean.
Wait, that's the thing. Is like, are your boxers? Is it like something before boxers before socks or socks before boxers?
boxers before socks. Because if you need to bend down to put your socks on, everything's just hanging there. That's good.
So, question for you,
Yes.
and we have this debate all the time. Sarah has a go at me all the time because we've got the ensuite. We're in the middle floor. I'll just come out the shower and wander around the room until I've got my stuff. Quite happy, no towel, swinging.
I'm naked a large percentage of my time at home.
I'm making a large percentage of just now.
Who all sleeps naked?
Me.
I can't. I can't.
I do.
Aye. Even I find it now very difficult to sleep with anything on. So see, like, well, we're going away to Rossi and stuff like that, and you've got to wear clothes. I find it uncomfortable.
Well, you're not going to wear clothes at Rossi. So.
No.
No.
I wore each other like a puppet that night.
I had a small stint of living with Burnsy, and I'm going to slowly talk so you can get your mind talk of what I'm going to say next. But I slept in Burnsy's spare room, and I did wear clothes to go to sleep in his spare room. I was respectful. But there was one night, Burnsy had been out in the sauce, and I'd been sleeping, and Burnsy snores a lot, as you guys are well aware of, so I used to have to sleep with headphones in. And then I woke up just to feel this, like, a presence just hanging over me in the room. And I look up, and there's an extremely drunk Burnsy, thankfully wearing a pair of boxers and a pair of socks. No top, just leaning over me, looking at me as I'm lying in his bed sleeping.
Trying to talk to you and you weren't answering.
He was trying to turn the light switch on, but he couldn't find it, and I had to shout at him to go to his bed. Escort him back to his room with his wee boxers on, his socks. So
I'm actually glad that you don't sleep in the buff Burnsy.
There was I think there was this.
I will let Kyle finish talking.
I was just going to say that I think there was something sinister in Burnsy's eyes that night.
Aye.
Well, it was the fact that he had, like, when you said he had a pair of socks as well, but a bit weird that they were over his hands.
Naked for the thighs down.
He seems on the socks.
The boxers were over his head.
He was carrying the socks on his boner.
Oh dear.
That's a nice way to end talking about girls trip, eh?
Aye, that would have made a movie.
Well, guys, weirdly enough, there wasn't much trivia about this movie. The only piece of interesting trivia that I brought out was, it says here, and I'm going to read this word for word, features what is arguably the first demonstration in a feature film of grapefruiting as an oral sexual act. Is this a thing?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, I'm sure it is now, since this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, somebody will have tried it, definitely. Aye.
Well, I'll be going in to check on the sales of grapefruits in Asda, Stennismuir, boys. Can't what you'll be up to.
I got to ask that alone, so I'll let you know.
You need to be like quite thin.
Hunter's getting the kiwis.
In fact, tell I be Asda Dunbar these last 2 months, so I'll tell you in the morning how it's going.
Well, it's even more scary that Laura's not even with you.
No. Just did to myself. With my one hand.
Look at the sweat running down Hunter's forehead now. Sorry, Hunter, I'll cut that out. Like, you'll not hear a thing.
Cut.
You'll cut that out, but you'll keep the Hitler bit in. Fucking hell.
Can you imagine Hitler and Roy Keane having an argument and a drink?
Oh.
Be better than that Sky Sports with the gloves are off before the pay-per-view. Just watch them.
Stone Cold could stun Hitler to end the night.
I knew it was the reason he was coming on.
Oh, guys, well, let's get our scoring for Girls Trip. Did Laurie give you a score, Sean?
She did, yes. And her score is a 3.5. Which I was expecting higher, if I'm honest with you. But hey ho.
It's a bit harsh calling her a hole, like. But Burnsy, what's your score?
Again, I'm going to go higher than the girl, or the female, as Kel called the male. I'm going to go a 3.75.
Wow.
You go, girl.
Burnsie's right into this, eh?
Burnsy love this.
There's a love triangle. It was on.
Oh, there's a love triangle and a pregnancy.
This is basically the film that we would describe that Burnsy would love. This is actually what it
Well,
is.
you seem surprised.
Aye.
God, if only they made a horror sequel of it, eh?
Oh, that'd be good.
Oh, God. Right, Hunter.
Oh, 1.75.
1.75. Daniel?
0.75.
0.
I'm going to get the fucking ear chewed off me, right, guys? Fucking hell.
Well, I was going to give it a 1, so I'm not helping your case much either, Sean. But Sean, what are you going to give it? A 5 to boost it up?
No, I'm going to give it a. I'll give it a 2.25.
That's a two marks more than what you wanted to.
Gee, guys, you don't help me out here.
No.
That's a.
To be fair, I survived
2.16
Hotel Rwanda.
overall.
I've survived Girls' Night.
Sorry, Burnsy, what was that?
Girls' Night, Girls' Trip.
That's a 2.16 overall.
A 2.16. Higher than get them to the Greek.
It's definitely better than that.
Well, it is coming in at number 104 on our list. Just overtaken 300 and a whole list of movies on that score. But it is below American Gangster and Hotel Rwanda. So you can tell Laurie, her taste in movies are out of our top 100. And that's both of them that she's picked for her list.
You can also tell that I scored it even higher than her, so I'm in a
maybe.
good
Aye. Maybe our next pick will be an absolute stoner.
Poseidon.
Poseidon.
Well, that does bring us to the end of these two movies, guys. So that's Girls Trip and Get Him to the Greek, done and dusted. But part 2 of the partners' choices is going to be on next week's episodes. Would those partners of the partners like to reveal what is going to be?
Partners of the
As I'm now single after tonight's revelation, I can't reveal what Laura's choice was.
Hunter's like, whatever the grapefruit wants.
Grapefruit / Katy Perry. I've got as much chance with both.
Well, guys, go on, tell us what have we got. What have we got in common?
As you do with a grapefruit. Oh man. Did you say what? Did you give the actual answer, Hunter?
No. It's In Bruges.
In Bruges, Daniel.
And Ella has chosen, with no influence at all, the movie Midsummer.
Can you look at the camera there because he was lying through his teeth?
Is that a horror?
Daniel picked horror, aye.
Oh, is that a horror? What did Daniel pick for? Is it a horror film?
It is a horror that Daniel picked horror. Honestly, I agree, mate. I agree.
Hey, okay.
But yes, it is a horror. But we do have the wheel spinning to get the category for the week after, guys. Please stop.
Go,
You just heard it.
Oh.
Fuck off.
I've not had a choice about 8 years now.
Oh, boys, I hope you're looking forward to Lord of the Rings 1 and 2. It is my picks. I'm going to have a good think about this and get the choices out of the 2 movies that I'm going to pick. I won't stitch these up, guys. I won't make you watch something shite or something that's really, really long. I wouldn't do that to you.
I've just I've just got a text off of Laurie. I've just put it in the chat for you. Burnsy is the only one with good taste.
I appreciate that.
And that's including you, Sean.
I know.
No comment. No comment. Well, listen, I will have a think about what movies I want you to watch, and then we'll get them up and running. It's the look on all your faces is absolutely devastated.
You did it like last time. You picked 12. Did you pick 12 Angry Men?
Yeah.
But I picked something else that was rotten though beside it.
Oh yeah. I might go for the black and white version of that. Actually, that'd be cool.
At least we don't need to watch it. It's the same fucking film, so go for it.
Right, anyway, guys, that brings us to the end of this this podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and as morons, bid you farewell.
Au revoir.
I love how Hunter always goes with a wee foreign goodbye at the end. At least somebody says goodbye to the people that listen, Hunter. Well done.
It's often nice.
Merci beaucoup.
I know. We got a couple of waves, people forgetting that it's a fucking podcast.
Did you guys see? I meant to put it in the chat earlier. The Logan Paul signed with WWE.
Was it?
Aye.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! A moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.